Hello and welcome to Byjus Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with the practice questions for the day, a quick gentle reminder. As part of our Target Prelims 2023, today's subject matter would be with respect to international relations. Please do tune in live on our YouTube channel from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. so that you understand all important topics that have been in news for the past 365 days with respect to international relations. Let's get started and look into the first practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Space Science and Technology Awareness Training Program. It is a sponsored program organized by ISRO for school children to impart basic knowledge on space technology. The program will cover various domains of space science, including astronomy and astrophysics, heliophysics and sun-earth interaction, instrumentation, and aeronomy. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the START program, which is why we have taken this practice question. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, it is a sponsored program organized by ISRO for school children. This happens to be a wrong statement. Why? Because this particular program is for all those undergraduate students who are in the final year and also for the postgraduate students as well. Under this particular program, ISRO will give them all kinds of awareness programs, awareness initiatives will be taken, scientists will be speaking up to these undergraduate as well as the postgraduate students so that they move to the space research and analysis in the near future. So this is not with respect to the school children, but it is with respect to the undergraduates who are in the final years as well as the postgraduates. There is another program that is run by ISRO for the school children. Which is this program is what you have to put on the comment section. The second statement reads, the program will cover various domains of space science, including astronomy and astrophysics, heliophysics and sun-earth interaction, instrumentation and aeronomy. This statement is right. So as part of the START program, all these initiatives will be taken. So remember, the program will contain all these initiatives that have been taken so that these students are attracted towards the space technology. The training will also emphasize on cross-disciplinary approach as well. What is this cross-disciplinary approach? When we speak about space science technology, this also includes other domains as well. Let's say for example the manufacturing, or let's say for example the applied physics, so on and so forth. So if there is a particular section of people who are interested not only in space technology but related domains, those people will also be enlightened as well. By doing this, what we will be emphasizing is on making sure that more number of students enter into the mode of STEM technology and space technology. What is the significance of this particular program? The lectures will cover topics on the Indian Space Science Exploration Program, research opportunities in space science and technology. The student community will be benefited from this training program as they will receive an overview of different facets of space science and technology, exposure to the research ongoing in different Indian institutes, insight into how their individual aptitude would suit some of the facets of space technology, and appreciate the cross-disciplinary nature of the subject and accordingly choose their career path. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following laws are associated with a shoot and sight order? Armed Forces Special Powers Act (AFSPA), Code of the Criminal Procedure (CRPC), Indian Penal Code (IPC), Prison Act, Probation of the Offenders Act. Which of these laws are associated with shoot at sight order? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to shoot at sight order. Let us try and understand what are these statements, which are the laws that have a direct association with respect to the shoot and sight orders. First important question is we understand what is this shoot at sight order. As the very name denotes, we have two words here. One is shoot, that is firing against an individual who is at sight. Where do we issue such an order? Let's say for example there is a particular area where there is a lot of chaos, ruckus that is created. They are not able to maintain the public order. All the alternatives avenues have been exhausted. They've given enough amount of time for these people to disperse from that particular area. Despite issuing warnings, despite also trying lathi charge, so so on and so forth. If people are not ready to move, they are harming the public property, they are also instigating violence, they are also making sure that they are committing heinous offenses in that particular area. Torching of vehicles is taking place. In that particular case, the government may issue shoot at sight orders. So basically, it is that particular region where chaos has been unstopped despite giving warnings to the people. Shoot at sight basically means that if people, despite warnings, continue to conduct such an activity, the police would be able to fire against these individuals, which is called as the shoot at sight order. So basically, because there is disturbance in that particular area, alternative tools which have been employed have not been successful, the shoot at sight orders will be issued by the government so that chaos and violence can be brought to an end in that particular area. So the shoot and sight orders mainly mean that authorities have the power to shoot anyone who can be seen threatening the society with arms, weapons, so on and so forth, and violating the orders of the authorities. So which are the laws that speak about the shoot at sight orders? What we have is the CRPC. We have sections 41 to 60 and sections 149 to 152 of the Code of the Criminal Procedure. It speaks about shoot at sight. Then we also have UPSC section 3A of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act of 1958. This can also be used with respect to shoot at sight orders. And then we also have section 76 of the Indian Penal Code. This is also another section which can be invoked in order to use the shoot at sight orders. So what we have is the CRPC, what we have is the UPSC, then what we have is the Indian Penal Code, Prison Act, and Probation of the Offenders Act does not do anything to do with the shoot and sight order. So the answer to this would be 1, 2 and 3. Now let's look into the next practice question. Telegraph Memorial, made of grey Aberdeen granite and standing on a sandstone base, was unveiled by Lord Curzon. It is dedicated to the efforts and sacrifices of telegraphers during the Pica Rebellion of 1817, Revolt of 1857, Vellore Mutiny, Sannyasi Rebellion. The answer to this is Revolt of 1857. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to the Telegraph Memorial. So where is this? This Telegraph Memorial is one of the places that is located in Delhi, and this was unveiled by Curzon back in the year 1902. What is this all about? We have discussed about the 1857 War of Indian Independence couple of times. We also have the video for the same as well. You can look into it. But let me give you a brief background to this particular instance. What exactly happened? We have our soldiers who are protesting against the Britishers. We also had our people who are protesting against the British back in the 1857. So those soldiers who were in favor of the British also switched sides as well. They wanted to support their own people as well. During this particular period, what you had was the use of the technology. So the use of the technology was with respect to the telegraph. So what happened? Most of these soldiers who were working for the British started moving towards India and supporting Indian people, but there were few people who were still supporting the British side. So few soldiers who were supporting the British side, they immediately had to send the message so that they would be able to galvanize the soldiers from some other region. So the telegraph that was immediately employed during 1857, message was delivered to the soldiers in some other place, and when message was delivered, they were able to immediately come to Delhi and also crush this particular movement. So the message was delivered making use of the telegraph in the 1857, and ultimately what we have is this particular process, that is the telegraph which was used, and there were soldiers who were using this telegraph so that they could deliver the message to the other soldiers, and as a result what we have is a memorial. So the electric telegraph has saved India, and these were the words that were given by Sir Robert Montgomery. What are some of the important facts with respect to Sir Robert Montgomery is what you have to put on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following pairs. We have the initiatives on one side, the state or the union territory which has taken up this initiative. Chandoli Black Rice Initiative, Uttar Pradesh. Kalika Chetarike, Karnataka, Sante Koshalkar, Telangana, Sarthi and Saki Mental Health Helpline, Maharashtra. How many pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer to this is only 2 pairs. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the Indian Express article. Let us try and understand what are these statements. We have the Niti Aayog, which happens to be the think tank for the government of India, which has come up with what is called as the best practices in social sector, a compendium in the year 2023. What is it? This happens to be an innovation, number of initiatives taken by different governments, state government as well as the central government, so that they can ultimately help in governance, so that it can ultimately simplify the process and also help to reach out to the people as well. So if you look into the first statement, Chandoli Brackley's initiative, yes, this is an initiative that has been taken by Uttar Pradesh. So the first one is right. So when we speak about this particular initiative, this is undertaken by the state government of Uttar Pradesh. So the first statement is right. When you look into the second statement is about Kalika Chetarike. This once again is an initiative taken by the state government of Karnataka. So the Kalika Chetarike is one of the initiatives taken by the state government of Karnataka, and this is to do with education. So Kalika Chetarike is an activity based learning in Karnataka undertaken by the Department of School Education, Government of Karnataka. So second statement is right. But when you look into the third statement, Sante Kaushalkar is not an initiative of Telangana, but it is once again the initiative of Karnataka. So what is this initiative all about? This happens to be an initiative where the self-help group and artisan profiling platform, which is undertaken by the Department of Planning, Program Monitoring and Statistics, Government of Karnataka. So it is an initiative taken not by the state government of Telangana, but instead it is Karnataka. And finally, what we have is Sarthi and Saki Mental Health Helpline. This is taken up by the government of Uttar Pradesh, and it is not by state government of Maharashtra. Since first and second are correctly matched, third and fourth are not correctly matched, only 2 pairs are correctly matched. So the answer to this would be only 2 pairs. Now let's look into the next practice question. In India, if a religious sect or community is given the status of a national minority, what special advantages it is entitled to? It can establish and administer exclusive educational institutions. The President of India automatically nominates a representative of the community to the Lok Sabha. It can derive benefits from the Prime Minister's 15-point program. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2011. The second statement is wrong primarily because we do not have any communal representation when it comes to India. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is changes that have been introduced in the Prevention of the Money Laundering Act. Let us try and understand what is this topic all about. When we look into the PMLA, what is it? This happens to be one of the major laws that has been drafted in the year 2002 to basically prevent the money laundering. We have discussed about the money laundering in the past as well. So let's stick basically only to the changes that have been introduced by the government of India. We have one of the definitions under the PMLA, which happens to be about the reporting entity. So under section 2 of 1 of W of A, what we have is the example of a reporting entity. What is this reporting entity? Let's say for example, a banking company or a financial institution or an intermediary or a person carrying on a designated business or a profession. So this reporting entity basically will have to report to the central government all the actions of an individual. What if a person is coming up with a lot of cash or is bringing a lot of money into the banking system? So the banking system as a whole will have to report this to the central government. A person is investing about 1000 crores into the bank. A person is investing about 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs into the banking system. A person is investing about 1 crore in the banking system. How did he get this particular cash? What is the source of this particular cash? Where did he get this cash from, if he is putting it into the banking system, this banking unit, banking institution has to report the same to the central government. So what is a reporting entity? A reporting entity as of now under section 2 of 1 of WA includes a banking company, a financial institution and an intermediary. Further, this reporting entity will have to verify the accounts of such people. Let's say for example, every reporting entity will have to verify the identity of its client and the beneficial owner and also authenticate with the Aadhaar as well. What is this reporting entity? Reporting entity happens to be a bank. So if this person is coming up to the banking channel, is investing certain money, he's saving certain money, he has to be authenticated. So the client will have to be authenticated by the banking unit or by the financial institution or by an intermediary, which happens to be a reporting entity. So this reporting entity under section 12 will also have to maintain the records as well. What are these records? Let's say for example the transactions. Let's say for example it is about all these individual transactions that are done by this person. So if asked by the central government, all these individual transactions will have to be given to the central government so that they are able to construct this particular area. So basically you have a reporting entity, banking, financial intermediary, so on and so forth, that is mentioned under 2 of 1 of WA. So it included the banking, the financial institutions as well as the intermediary. As a new change, what we currently have is the government is also designating chartered accountants, cost accountants and company secretaries into this reporting entity. So the government has been making changes to the money laundering law. Through the latest weeks, it has also brought about chartered accountants, company secretaries and cost and work accountants carrying out the financial transaction on behalf of the clients into the ambit of the financial entities. So basically we have the banking, we have the financial institutions, we also have other intermediaries as well. To this particular definition, what they have brought within its ambit are these chartered accountants, company secretaries and the cost and the work accountants. So the ambit is further increased. So this basically means that if there is a person who is engaging the services of the chartered accountant, and if this chartered accountant is working as an agent, if he is working as an agent, let's say he's buying the property, he's controlling the activities of this particular person. In such a case, he has to make sure that all these activities are taken note of, all these transactions are taken note of, and if the government so requests, this activity by the agent, that is the chartered accountant of that particular master, that is the person who has given this particular money, will have to be given to the central government. So basically, if there is a chartered accountant who is buying and selling any immovable property of his client, managing client money, securities or other assets, management of bank savings or security accounts, organization of contributions for the creation, operation or management of companies, creation, operation or management of companies, limited liability partnership or trust, and buying and selling of business activities are now covered under its ambit. But do note, the updated definition of the covered entities under the changes will not include the lawyers and the legal professionals. So why is India doing all this? That is because to plug the loopholes in the money laundering law. That is because India is now coming under the assessment for the Financial Action Task Force. So to plug all the loopholes that are existing in the PMLA, they have come up with this particular measure. So this particular measure is also taken up to aid the investigative agencies in the probe against dubious transactions involving the shell companies as well as the money launderers as well. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this topic. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.